Hello everyone, and welcome to another oil painting video. Sorry I've been out so long. I've had a lot of personal stuff going on in my life over this whole summer. It's been an interesting summer. I may get into it at a later time. But anyways, I'm back. I'm going to try and do another video. We got here 14 by 18 stretch linen canvas. It's a Centurion you get from Jerry's Artorama. It's actually a pretty good stretch linen. It's not terribly expensive. It's not expensive at all. And it's got a decent bounce to it. It's put together real well. It's archival. It's a very nice piece. Okay, we're going to go back to some basics here. And I'm just going to try and get back into the groove. I know I was doing a lot of palette knife, and there's going to be a lot of knife work in here. But we're just going to see what happens. Like I said, I haven't done much painting of any kind in the last probably 3 months. So it's going to be a little bit of getting back into the groove myself. Just going to do our basic composition here. This is Payne's Gray and Phthalo Blue. And I usually put a little bit of green, Viridian, Phthalo Green, whatever. I'm using Phthalo Green at the moment, but not in this yet. I just wanted this a little bit bluer. Like I said before, Payne's Gray is like a severely dark blue. Although if you put white to it, it does go gray. And so it acts like a black in that way. But when you do this, there's a decent amount of Payne's Gray in here, and you can see how it darkens up that phthalo, and it's got this real beautiful blue look to it. So that's kind of what I'm looking for over here. I'm not sure exactly how I'm doing this yet. So right now, I'm going to go into like a different type of sky here. As usual, I'm making it up as I go. I had no preconceived notion here. I just know I wanted to get back to painting in general, and I wanted to get back to doing videos. I missed it. Had a lot of, like I said, stuff going on. Okay. A little bit more white here. There we go. It's hard to believe the summer is almost over. As I'm doing this video here, it's the 24th of August. I think it's 2 weeks from today is opening Sunday for the NFL, so a lot of things going on. Okay, I think that's all I'm going to do with the sky as far as, I'm not going to drop it any further. I'm going to have some kind of hill back here. I might have a house, you know, like a little shack, something like that. I'm not sure. A little bit more white up here. There we go. Just get that smoothed out pretty good. Basically, I'm just trying to get all the brush strokes out. I don't like my sky to be too thick for this particular one. And then what we'll do is we'll go back with a little bit more of our medium. It's the same medium I've been using forever. It's a walnut alkyd medium from M. Graham. And it'll help with the fast dry, and it'll also help with moving everything pretty nice. There we go. There we go. Some good background trees here. As a matter of fact, I think I'm going to do some more. This is mixing with the blue and the white of the sky, so you can see how it's getting lighter as I go. So I'm putting more paint because I don't want it too light. It is going to be the background, so I don't want them too dark, but I do want them with a little bit in there. And this I just a little too high. to do is I'm going to take another brush and just put back my sky. There we go. There we go. I'm not going to brush that clean the brush yet. There we go. There we go. Okay. So, we got a nice little background going. This is going to be a little bit of, I don't think it's going to be a mountain. It's going to be like foothills. I think it's just going to be like that. So, what I'll do is I'll take the same mixture. Just going to add some brown to it. A little bit of purple. Keep it nice and dark. There we go. Like it's just a bunch of rocks. And then I'll put some stuff in front of it. I don't think I'm going to do a house today. Little cottage or whatever. I think I'll save that for the next time. I'll just have this like this. And then that I can just fill in with trees. As a matter of fact, since I'm doing this, just have it go all the way. There we go. Okay, so I'm going to wipe it off my brush. I'm not going to clean the brush yet. Still going to just wipe it off, get all the bulky stuff off. Because right now I want to do a little bit of kind of sculpting. Okay, like we normally do. So, you know, it's a dirty brush, doesn't matter. But it doesn't have a lot of paint on it. So it's, you know, not that much paint. So, I like the background trees the way they are. So that's cool. But I want to reestablish my riverbank. And I want to reestablish where there's going to be land. There we go. There we go. That's funny too, because I didn't see that was a little bit of an angle until I moved back. So like I said before, it's always really good to step back into your art, at least 6 feet, and then to use that as the perspective that you're looking at it. And it's going to really help with just the way it looks in general. Okay, just going to fill this in here. I want to get rid of the white here a little bit sooner than normal. This is Payne's Gray and Yellow Ochre. And look at this beautiful olive that you get. And it just, I hope it shows up good on the video, because this is a beautiful olive. It has a little bit of a brown tint to it, but it's it looks good. And then basically what we're going to do is, everything we're doing right now is dark. And that's fine. That's what we want to do. And then we're going to put light. This is oil painting, so it's opaque. You know, watercolor, you start with your lights and then you go dark. Well, with acrylic and oil, you do the other way. Start with your darks and then you go light. And since I'm kind of in a moody mood, I'm going to have a moody feel to my painting. Not in a bad mood, just subdued. Might as well tell you, you're going to find out anyway. My dad passed away on July 24th. So today's actually the 1 month anniversary. He's only 82 years old and he's in decent health. It just came out of nowhere. So the whole family's a little bit unenthusiastic right now, to say the least. But I know he'd want me to keep doing my videos. Just doing the edge here. Now, one of the things is too here, doing the edges as you're painting is good and bad. Okay, depends on what you're doing. So, I have mine mounted with Velcro, so I don't have to touch it and hold it and use my hands to do it. So if you had to hold your canvas to keep it set, then you might want to do your edges after everything's dry, and then you come in later. I can do it this way because of the way it's set up. You know, the canvas is already there. Doesn't really matter. And this isn't going to be a painting that's designed to hang without a frame. This is designed for a frame. You can, because the edges are folded over reasonably well, you can hang it like this as is, and it won't look bad, but it would look much better in a frame. The wood is different. My wood panels, those look really good on the wall as is without a frame, and good with the frame. Stretch canvas that doesn't have that real deep profile doesn't usually look that good. Now, and that's why I said usually. There's never a, this is art, so there's never a one size fits all type of thing. It's up to the artist, it's up to the person that buys it, it's up to everybody. Okay. So, next thing we're going to do, wipe off the brush. Again, I'm not going to clean the brush. I'm going to go into some of my blue and some of my white. And I'm going to put in the water. Now the water, I've learned over the years, I like putting water in with this movement of the brush. Yeah, this way is cool too. What I like about this and scrubbing it in is I get a real good feel of the water in itself. And that sounds kind of weird, but it's almost like you can feel it. And you see what it's doing. It just, I enjoy doing the water this way. When I use a palette knife, it's actually a similar way that I do it too with the palette knife. And I like this really dark look. This is Payne's gray, this is white, this is a little bit of the yellow ochre, or phthalo blue, it's all kinds of stuff. And since water reflects its surroundings, and like I said, I'm a bit moody at the moment, then it actually fits real well. There we go. Now, I'm not going to have this water go right up to the rocks. There's going to be a little bit of land in front. And yes, I'm doing it this way just to smooth it out. I already laid it in the way I wanted to. Now I'm going to smooth it out, and I'm going to blend a little bit with the land going into it on the bottom here. There we go. Okay, so pretty much all the white is covered. That little dab you see in the offset to the right center is just irrelevant. That's just going to be background trees I'm going to put here in a second. Okay, now we can start lightening things up a little bit. Get a little blue and just get the last of the white out. There we go. Now, officially, all the white has gone bye-bye. There we go. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to just keep the same dirty brush. I'm just going to tap in background foliage. And then I have to reestablish the hills again. And that's all they are. There's not a mountain today. It's hills. These, they don't have to be anything precise. I'm going to put some highlights on the tops, but not everywhere. Towards the bottom, towards the rocks, wouldn't have a lot of light shining there. So that's not something that's really necessary. And the sky, I might put a little bit of clouds here and there, little wispy things, but nothing, you know, no major cloud formations, no cloudscape, so to speak. Just want this to be a very subtle and subdued painting. We're not using a ton of color. We're going to I mean, obviously we're gonna have flowers on it, but we're not gonna have a ton of color. That one I don't like. There we go. I'm gonna wipe this completely here. That was just too dark. There we go. Now I'm gonna go into the white and blue. Again. There we go. You're doing acrylic painting, you're not doing that. It would have been long since dry. A little bit more Payne's gray in there. There we go. Every once in a while I keep thinking about going to acrylics because they dry a lot quicker, and then it'd be a little easier to layer some of the ways I like to do. But I just love oil paint so much. I mean, I still may. If you guys want to see some acrylic stuff, you know, I've done acrylic in the past, so I can show you some acrylic. You know, it is a beautiful medium. It really is. Some people are really gifted with it, but I'm still really, I'm stuck in the oil, in the oil paint basically, and I'm not gonna apologize to anybody. There's something about the oils I love. Okay, now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this little knife, it's this little thing here, a little bit of white, and I'm just gonna put in a little bit of clouds here and there. I'm not gonna put anything major in. Just going to be putting in stuff like this. Just a little bit. Nothing major, just I'm just kind of scrubbing it a little bit. There we go. Just a hint, a little bit of subtlety in the clouds. Okay, so next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use the filbert. And I've already got mainly the sky color in there. I'm going to go right into my cad yellow light. This is the hue. I'm going to have an overhand grip. I'm just going to play with it. I'm just putting on paint, thick, thin, whatever. And I'm not going to use any more color. You know, I might dip a little bit more, but what I basically want, see, that's too light. Okay, I want it like it is right here. So I'm going to take some color from there for over here. I will need a little bit more, but I'm going to put it with a little bit of Payne's gray to go with it. There we go. That comes out better. Bright where it needs to be, but not too bright. I don't want this bright. These are background trees. And cad yellow is a very strong color. Even though it's a hue, it still just means, like I told you before, it's the synthetic version of it. In there. When you're getting towards the bottom, it's going to be pretty dark. And this I want to get those bright spots out. There we go. Don't want those bright little patches. That works. That works. Okay, now I'm going to take my knife and I'm going to use yellow ochre. Just start there. I'm not attempting to make anything stick out until I put in the flowers. Those are going to stick out a little bit just because they're flowers and they need to have a little bit of life to them. And that is my wife's crazy bird, Raphael. Which, if you've watched any of my videos before, you know he likes to make himself known when I do a video. It's funny, he's been quiet for the last hour and a half, and I'm getting into the video, and it's all of a sudden, hey, look at me, listen to me. He's a good bird overall. Can be a pain in the ass, but hey, who among us are not? I know I can be a pain sometimes. Alrighty. There we go. And I don't have it going all the way down for lots of reasons. Well, a couple of reasons. One of them is I'm not going to, the light wouldn't go down that far regardless. And the other is I'm going to put a little strip of land right underneath that's going to have bushes, and I'm going to have a couple of bigger trees in front of the background trees. So this is going to be, to a degree, the bottom part's going to be covered as it is, so it doesn't really matter. Okay, so clean off the knife. Now, I plan my paintings as I go, not in the very beginning. Sometimes I do, but rarely. So, the point of bringing that up. Excuse me, let me get this done. The point of bringing that up. Okay. As you get more confidence and you do more and more paintings, it's going to be easier for you to kind of figure it out as you go. In the beginning, you're going to be a little hesitant. Don't worry about it. That's just natural. But as you go, you'll be able to do a lot more with things. And you won't be worried about everything. This is just yellow ochre, and basically it's the same. Mixture that I made these little hills with. And in a second, I'm going to take a brush and just take them to the side, from side to side. I'm just putting this in now just to put color. This is where there's going to be some land. Okay. Now I'm going to take that same raunchy, dirty brush that I've been using. And I want this to be in the water a little bit. So I'll just use the side of the brush. There we go. And the reason I want this to be in the water is for obvious reasons. You know, if you ever go by a lake, by a river, by a stream, whatever, you're going to see some debris. That could be leaves, branches. It could just be a little shallow part where you see the silt and the brown underneath the water, whatever the case may be. So you're going to see all that stuff. Okay, so now let's figure out where our trees are going to be. And I still have to figure out how I'm going to do them. So I think I'm going to go with the knife. I'm not going to go with a big one. Okay, so let's go with, sorry, it's actually 73 degrees out today in the Chicago area, so we got our windows open. So where are we going to put? And this is Payne's Gray and Phthalo Blue. Just letting the knife do most of the work. Tapping straight in, and you get that real nice fir tree type of shape to it. And then we hit it with the cad yellow and put those highlights on. It's going to really be nice. There we go. I'll do one more over here. Then I'll do some smaller ones, but I don't want to take out the hills. Those little rock formations I like, so I want to keep those in. There we go. Okay, so now what I'm going to do, now I'm just putting all this in, but I'm being careful not to cover all my highlights and my hills. I need those to be visible to give it this nice character. Now, obviously, we're getting much thicker in our paint than we were, and that's the whole thing. We're starting out thin, and we're going thicker. Before, we've had this interesting summer with my dad passing and everything else that was going on this year. I told you that pretty soon I'm going to be going palette knife only. Well, that hasn't changed. I will. But in the meantime, I want to go with this and see how it goes. See where we're at. Okay, that's good enough. Now we got all the background stuff nice. And now we're going to go with cad yellow straight out of the tube and then mix it with what's on there, and that's where you're going to get the green. And the more I mix it, the greener it gets, because that's what I want. I don't want to have yellow trees. Now, are there in nature? Of course. This particular one, I want it more subdued. I want this value of green much brighter than the background, obviously, but I don't want this, you know, I don't want that. So that's why I'm going to keep doing the blending to get rid of that real bright stuff. That's not what I want. Go. Almost there. I'm going to put a little yellow ochre into this with the cad yellow. Change it up just a little bit. Now, if you haven't noticed, I'm not going into the water a lot. And that's because I'm using like the top 2/3 of the blade. I haven't done the highlights of the water yet, so if I do go in it, it's not a big deal, but I didn't want to go in it right away. Okay. Man, everything's going crazy. Okay. So, my wife answered the phone for me. That's my work phone. So she's going to see if it's an emergency. Alrighty, now let's smooth this puppy out. There we go, and let's step back. Oh, that's perfect. You can still see the little rocks and stuff in the back. You got the background trees, a little bit of those clouds. So that's working out really well. Okay, so I'm going to do something that's going to disturb everything. Laura, was it an emergency? Cool, not an emergency, so I can get back. Okay, so I bet you don't have many YouTube videos with that in it. Okay, now, so I'm going to put a little bit of ground in there, and that's the same as I've been using for everything else. That's the cad yellow, but it's still my mixture with the Payne's gray and everything else. It's funny, when I started oil painting in general, I always liked paintings that weren't thick. Impasto, even when I was viewing paintings, I don't know if they were intimidating, but I guess I didn't understand how to do it. I'm not sure how to explain it. But as I continue painting more and more, I really, really, really love the thicker paint. Now, I'll start smooth as a baby's ass here for right now when I'm still using the brush. But the ones that I have done palette knife only, okay, those, I got one right here. This is a little 5x7, just to give you an idea. Okay, this whole thing was with a knife. Even the water, you can feel the water. The little hut, the sky, everything. And for some reason, yes, the smooth look, some of the classic contemporary look, feel is really good, but there's something about when I do the knife, it's almost like it speaks to me. Okay, it shows movement better, in my opinion. It shows attitude better, whatever the case may be. But whatever it is, I'm starting to really adopt that style. So pretty soon, my page, my YouTube channel basically, is going to end up being palette knife oil painting only. I mean, I may throw in a couple of brush paintings here and there, but I'm not planning on doing a lot of brush work, so to speak. Now, speaking of not doing a lot of brush work, let's get our water line in. And that's just part of the blade. Now when I hit it, right where that water, right where that ground is. I went a little too thick right up there, so I'm just going to keep using that paint to get it down. And then I'm going to use a little fan brush or something just to give it a little bit more movement. Just like most things in painting, you're going to have a lot of awkward stages. And those awkward stages eventually turn into something nice. Right now that looks stupid. I don't care. I knew it was going to look stupid. Once I'm done with the fan brush, then it'll look good. So let's get the fan brush. Now, the big one I use a lot, as you can see, it's worn. The little one is frayed and everything else. That's really good for foliage and everything else. But I like using the little one for this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take it nice and gently, barely going to touch it, and I'm just going to move the stuff. Okay? And I'm just going to barely touch it to start with. And then once I get everything starting to move, okay, I've touched everything. Now I'm going to take my overhand grip, and then I'm going to start giving it the movement. There we go. And I want some of this yellow to blend in. I want some of the yellow in the water. I'm going to put a little darker blue in here. And now you're basically sculpting your water. You're getting it to kind of what you want it to look like. I went a little too much with the white here. That's why I gotta keep going like this. And I'm covering up most of the white, and that's fine. But I'm not covering up everything. Okay, I know it's hard to see, but I've got like 2, 3, 4, maybe 5 or 6 different variations of blues and the different colors around it. So in a minute, I'm going to take some white and I'm just going to do it with the fan brush, and I'm just going to scatter it here and there just for like ripples on the water and to show that movement. Okay, I've got the movement here, and if you can see it, you know, within 6 feet, not in the video, you can tell. But I'm going to have light paint. Went a little too heavy. There we go. That's better. I'll wipe it off. Now I'm going to It's hard to explain the exact thing I'm doing here other than this messed up. Went too heavy here. Too thick of paint. Driving me nuts. I know, I'd say too thick of paint for somebody that wants to do nothing but palette knife. That's the truth, but if this was a palette knife, it would have worked out better. Because palette knife, by its nature, is supposed to be thick. There we go. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Okay, so let's get back. Perfect. Now some of this is going to be covered up by red and orange and yellow flowers anyway. So I'm going to put that in here now, pretty close to quick. Now I am actually washing 2 of my brushes, but the brush that I'm not washing is the brush that I started with, and that was a 1.5 inch. That one has been wiped a few times, but it hasn't been washed. Why? No, I just don't feel like it. Don't need to be. Okay, so now we're going to do, I'm going to take some phthalo blue, Payne's gray. You remember that combination? Most of the base of this painting is that combination. Now I'm just going to pick up. And I'm just, and this is going to obviously distinguish water from land, and it's going to be the base for our pretty flowers. Now I want to go a little higher. There you go. And I'm just scraping up with the brush. There we go. Now that has a perfect way now to keep the water together. You got the land there, you got the land here with all these reeds and assume to be really pretty red and yellow and orange flowers. There we go. Okay. Now I'm going to go straight into red, and I'm going to tap some in here. Remember, this is the brush that I used to put the background foliage in. And you don't put them in randomly, you kind of figure out where you want them. You're gonna put them in a place that's a little appealing to you. I want to break up a little bit of this, but not get it into the water. There we go. Okay, so the reason why I put the red there is because there's going to be a lot of red in these flowers, a little bit in the foreground land. So I've said this a million times. Wherever you put one color, you want to put it in the same, you want to put that same color somewhere else in the painting. Okay? So, I love the overhand grip when I'm doing stuff. I'm going real thick here. And I'm basically just patting it down. And I'm going to cover most of this with yellow, but not all of it. I'm going to keep some of the red by itself. And this is going to be a little darker red just because it's going to be lower. And you're not going to have as much sun get to it. Okay? So, we don't have to wash the brush, but we do have to wipe it to get the real heavy red out of there. Now we're going to go straight into our Cad yellow. And this is going to be going orange as we go, but we're not going to, like I said, we're not going to cover it all. I want some of those red flowers there. A lot of my Cad red is contaminated with the green that it made, so it's got a little of that in there, and I'm going to use a palette knife to put that down here for this. There we go. Okay, I like those flowers like that. And basically, you're being a sculptor, I guess, I want to say. You know, you're taking what appeals to you. Does that look nice to you? If the answer is yes, then that's what you do. You don't worry about what other people say, think, or whatever. So now, I'm going to take my knife. I'm going to put my really light yellow in here. And then I'm going to put other colors in it. I'm going to put a lot of phthalo green in here once I get my yellow base. And I'm not going to use the whole thing with yellow. But it's going to be a lot of colors here. Now I'm going to have some yellow ochre. This is one of the parts about the knife I love too. It's just, like I was talking about that movement before. You can see this land moving. There we go. That actually is pretty good like that. Now, the only reason I don't like it is there's a lot of solid colors. Now, granted, nothing left on my palette is solid. I've got a mixture of almost everything. But now, I'm going to put in my greens. Okay, I'm just mixing all this stuff together. There we go. Okay, now, the next thing I'm going to do is go with my Payne's Gray. And I want to go a little more horizontal. I don't want as big a slope as I show here. So I'm going a little bit more horizontal. There we go. Okay, so now the next thing I'm going to do this is how I did that midground, remember? A little bit of taps. I'm not going to do the whole thing. Just here and there. It's a good way to blend. There we go. Okay. Now I got a little bit more yellow to put in. Right here. Now I want to put a little bit more red in this part. All the kids are coming out in the neighborhood now. So it's a good thing that this video is almost over. Okay. A little bit more over this. It was a little too red for me. Go with more green here. Nice and dark. Okay, the last thing I gotta do, squeeze out just a hair more yellow. I was almost there. I almost hit it perfect. But I went too dark right here in this very center front, and I don't want it that dark. There we go. That's what I was looking for. There we go. Now, one thing when you use a knife, you definitely go through a lot of paper towels. There we go. Let's get this. There we go. Okay, I think we got ourselves a painting, ladies and gentlemen. I hope everybody enjoyed this. And I hope everybody has a great rest of your weekend and a great work week. I hope everybody gives this a try, and you take care of yourselves, and I will see you next time.